Okay, so let's unpack this. You've sent over a really fascinating document today. It's an expert outline, basically mapping out what it would actually take to live on Mars.
Yeah, it's quite detailed. Goes
Yeah.
way beyond just the initial landing.
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive is, well, to pull out the key insights from this plan, give you a shortcut to understanding just how colossal this idea of Martian colonization really is.
It's definitely not just rockets and, red dust.
Not at all. This feels like a genuine roadmap for potentially creating a new human home somewhere else. And what strikes me right away is how it frames the why Mars question. It's not just, oh, it's there. It talks about practicalities.
Right. It zeroes in on Mars's potential suitability. Yes, it's relatively close,
Yeah.
but also its geology, its atmosphere,
Hmm.
suggesting we could maybe use resources already there.
In situ resource utilization, yeah. The outline really emphasizes that, doesn't it? That potential for local stuff like water ice makes long-term settlement seem, well, at least conceivable.
Precisely. That potential is key. It makes Mars viable in a way other places might not be, but then it pivots straight into the massive challenges.
Oh yeah, doesn't pull any punches there.
No. And what's interesting is how it sort of quantifies them. We're talking a really thin atmosphere, almost nothing, extreme temperatures,
Huh.
like wild swings.
How extreme are we talking?
Think minus 195 Fahrenheit, maybe up to 70 F near the equator in summer. And then there's the radiation, constant cosmic rays, solar particles.
So habitats won't just be nice domes with a view.
Not even close. The outline makes it clear. You're either digging deep underground or using some seriously advanced multi-layered shielding materials, maybe both.
Which shifts the focus, right?
Uh-huh.
From just getting there to actually staying there,
Yeah.
surviving day to day. The outline spends a lot of time on the nuts and bolts, food, water, energy.
Yeah, the sustainability angle. It's easy to say closed-loop system, but the outline stresses just how incredibly complex that is on Mars.
What does it highlight there? What's the tricky part?
Well, can we actually make a tiny self-sufficient Earth? It's not just recycling. The outline talks about near-zero waste. Air purification, yes, water recycling hyper-efficiently, but also growing food, maybe hydroponics, aeroponics.
And dealing with waste.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even turning waste back into useful resources. Waste valorization, they call it. If your water recycling is even slightly inefficient over months or years, that could be mission failure.
Wow. So it's less like a machine and more like a finely tuned ecosystem you have to build.
That's a good way to put it, a hyper-optimized living system.
And these systems need a home. The outline covers different habitat ideas, right? Not just basic shelters.
Definitely. It explores quite a range. Things like inflatable habitats. You pack them small, they deploy quickly, give you volume fast.
Okay, that makes sense for getting started.
Yeah. Then there's 3D printing. The idea is using Martian soil, the regolith, as the actual building material. Saves launching heavy stuff from Earth.
Which is hugely expensive.
Massively. And maybe most importantly for that radiation problem, it really looks hard at underground or heavily shielded habitats, using the planet itself for protection.
So build into Mars, not just on it.
That seems to be a major thrust, yeah.
Yeah.
Maximizing safety and using local resources efficiently in, let's face it, a totally alien place.
So, okay, let's say we manage the tech. We have air, water, shelter. The outline then shifts to something I find really compelling, the human side of things.
Yes, the psychology and the society often gets less attention than the hardware.
Totally. What specific psychological hurdles does it flag for long-term settlers? Because this isn't a short visit.
No, this is potentially for life. And the outline points to, well, profound challenges. Chronic isolation, you're millions of miles and months away from Earth.
Yeah.
Intense confinement in small spaces for years on end.
The stress must be immense.
Unbelievable stress. You're in this hostile environment where one mistake could be fatal. So it talks about rigorous psychological screening beforehand, naturally, but also ongoing support, maybe VR escapes, personalized green spaces inside habitats, things to maintain mental health.
It sounds like you need a whole new kind of resilience.
You absolutely do. And it's not just individuals, it's about building a functioning society. How does the outline tackle that? Governance, culture.
Right. It gets into basically nation building, but on Mars.
Yeah.
How do you set up fair rules? How do you build a community when you might have people from all different backgrounds and countries?
Yeah, how do you foster a culture that's maybe distinct from Earth? It raises big questions about like resource allocation, how you resolve disputes, what happens when the first generation is born there, do they develop a unique Martian identity?
That's fascinating. So it suggests needing adaptable laws Strong community leadership.
Adaptable is the key word.
Yeah.
Because we genuinely don't know all the issues that will crop up.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? This deep dive into the outline, it really shows settling Mars isn't just one thing, is it?
Not at all. It's incredibly multifaceted. It's engineering, sure, but it's just as much about human psychology, sociology, politics. You need everyone from planetary scientists to psychologists involved.
It really underscores that our future off-world, well, it's going to be shaped as much by how clever we are socially as how good our rockets are.
Couldn't agree more. Our social ingenuity is on PES just as much as our scientific prowess.
Which leads to a final thought for you to ponder. If we ever do get a self-sustaining settlement going on Mars, what kind of unique traditions or, I don't know, cultural norms do you think might pop up first? Something completely different from anything we have here on Earth. Something to think about.